And I don't say it lightly, like you had a brother that was killed in a drive-by shooting in Chicago. I'm glad that Will is here today. And I'm thankful that God's hand is upon Will's life. This coming week, Will meet the district board for his minister's license. Now, I know he's got all that worldly stuff. He's got a degree. He's got a good job. But I'm telling you, I don't measure me now. I am so thankful that Will is yielding himself to another degree, another level, a spiritual level. So Will, tear it up.
Thank you, Jesus. Happy New Year. Are we grateful for our pastor and his wife? Grateful for God being in our lives, and I'm grateful for my wife and daughter and just the church family. I'm grateful for you all. Just put my time on this side. Okay. All right, so if everybody can stand, I'm going to read out of the book of Jude, first chapter. If you don't know where it's at, it's right before Revelation. So, we verses 20 through 23. It says, "But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost, keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ unto eternal life. And of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh." Lord Jesus, God, we thank you for today, God. I pray, Lord God, that you'll help me to speak to your people, Lord God. And Lord God, I pray that the spirit of revelation and the spirit of understanding will flow, Lord God, today. And Lord God, I pray that, Lord God, that you'll touch your people, God. I pray that you will empower them, Lord God. Oh God, we just pray, Lord Jesus, that your word will find root in our hearts, Lord God, and fall on good grounds, and that we will apply it to our lives today, Lord God. And Lord God, we just give you praise and give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated. All right, so Pastor asked me on Thursday to speak on reaching for lost souls. So there are two stages of being lost that a person can be in, like two conditions. The two conditions are temporal, being lost temporarily, which is in this present life, right? So they can walk through this life not knowing who they are, not knowing who God is, not knowing where to go, just aimlessly walking throughout life blind, right? So that's in this life. The eternal condition is if they continue on in that life and never come to know God, and never come to know who they are in God, and just never receive a salvation. And they become eternally lost and destroyed. So Jesus has commissioned his church to step into the lives of these people who are temporarily lost in this life, to rescue them from an eternal destruction, or being eternally lost. And so we have to be willing to step in, and because he died for all of us, not just for me, but he died for all people. And so he wants us to get involved in reaching up for the lost. So as we read in Jude, we read what it takes to reach these type of people. To reach lost people, right? And the first step we need to take towards reaching lost people is to go to God in prayer. We have to seek the face of God and intercede for this lost world. I believe that when we do this, he will guide us to the lost people who are searching and are hungry. He will allow our paths to cross theirs, in their condition of being hurt, broken, and desperate for a change. when we cross their path, God will give us the confidence to speak and to tell them about Jesus and his desire to save and rescue them. And so it starts with praying in the Holy Ghost. If you have the Holy Ghost, you need to be praying in the Holy Ghost every day. Every day. And because you're praying the wonderful works of God and you're praying the will of God. And he's going to guide you. He said he will guide you and direct your path, you know, as you yield to him. And so he's going to build our faith and trust in him to guide us to these lost souls and to give us the boldness to speak up. And we will find the heartbeat of God, which is lost souls, reaching lost souls. Right? That's the heartbeat of God. And so next, so that's the first step, prayer. Next is we have to keep ourselves in the love of God. Just referring back to Jude, right? And look for the coming of the Lord. This will motivate us to reach for lost souls because we're able to share the love of God he has given us and warn them of the urgency for the need for all of us to be ready when Jesus comes back. So that's the drive. Like we know Jesus is coming back any moment, and so we need to be reaching for people because we don't want them left behind. We don't want them to be left to be lost. You know? And so, thirdly, we have to be compassionate and merciful towards people. That compassion and mercy should compel us to do something. And use what we receive from God to make a difference in their lives. I believe showing compassion and mercy towards people must be driven by love. Right? And when we seek the face of God, he will impart his love for souls. Right? Good. And so that love will cause us to reach out to lost souls and do something. When we yield to the love of God, it will possess us, and it will be our motivation. And we will make a difference in our world. We will make a difference in this city. We will make a difference when we're driven by the love of God, when we're led by the love of God, and allow his love to flow through us and speak through us, and not just in our words, but our actions as well. And so, finally, when we pray and are motivated by the love of God, we are able to reach for lost souls and pull them out of the grips of hell and pull them away from the path that leads to destruction. We become their spiritual lifeguards. We are reaching into spiritual fire to pull them out of their nest, and we have to do this with care. Jesus said that the gates of hell shall not prevail against his church. And so hell has people bound in their sin and shame, and we as a church must reach into their prisons and snatch them out. The prophet Isaiah told us that Satan is not willing to open the doors of his prisoners. But we have the power of God on our side, and if someone is desiring to break free from the enemy and find themselves in a great struggle, we can't give up on them. And we have to just intercede for them and pray and do spiritual warfare. And go on offense against the gates of hell and reach in the spirit and also in the natural. And so we have to let people know, hey, you're in a lost condition and you need God. He loves you, but he hates sin. And so we have to persuade them because we know the terror of the Lord. We have to persuade them to live for God and to compel them to come to Jesus because we know the terror of the Lord. He's going to, there's going to be wrath that's going to come on this earth. Right. And so we don't want those lost people that come across our path to experience that wrath. And so we have to compel them, like I said. And so, yes, we're not the Savior, but we're a part of men coming to salvation, right? Amen. We're a part of, God gave us a role in rescuing men. And so, when we plant the word of God, the seed of the word, when we plant and we water it, that's our role, right? Planting the word of God and watering the word of God. Either you can do both or you can do one or the other. But God gives the increase. He's going to increase the word in our heart, and he's going to bring it back to their memory, and he's going to convict them and he's going to, just bring the word in their hearts, and they're going to have to do something with it. And so we just pray that they yield to the word and that they obey the word. And so I want to end with these two stories in the book of Luke, chapter 10, where there's two incidences where Jesus, he sent 70 disciples out, right, 2 by 2. And the first thing he told them, well, he sent them out because he was going to go to these places, go to these cities. So he sent them out before him and to prepare the way, basically, essentially. And so he told them to pray, right? Pray to the Lord of the harvest, and that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. And that send forth is a strong word in the Greek. It means to like literally push out, like to thrust out almost. Like he's like just sending us out. It's a powerful move of God to drive us out into out of these four walls and into the world, and to proclaim the word of God and to proclaim the gospel and to reach for people. And so he's sending us out among the wolves. We're lambs, and we're among the wolves. And so there are those who are preaching false doctrine. Those who are in it for the wrong reason, who are in it for filthy lucre, for filthy money. And so we're sent out among those. And so we're fighting against those spirits of wolves. And we're fighting against those spirits of false doctrine. We're fighting against those spirits of false religion. And, spirituality and these other gods. We're fighting against that. And so, we just have to fight through that, pray through that, and just intercede and reach for people. And he sent them out. He told them not to carry purse, which is like basically a money bag, or don't worry about carrying money. Don't worry about carrying a script, which is like a lunch bag. Right? Don't worry about where your food gonna come from, where your money gonna come from. Don't worry about carrying an extra pair of shoes, right? Because God was going to provide the way. He was going to make provision for them. As long as they just went out, he was going to provide what they need. And so, through the people that they were going to reach, And so, because he said, when you go into these houses, speak peace. And if they receive it, then, it's going to be there. But if they don't receive it, then it's going to come back to you. And then you basically just have to move on, right? And so, but if they receive you, then God can use you, and to touch them and to heal them, and we are to declare the kingdom of God that it's come to where they are, because Jesus said that the kingdom of God is within us. So when we're going out, we are representatives of the kingdom, and so when we come into a house, his presence will come if they are receptive to it. And so, but if they don't, then we're to dust off our feet, right? We are to say, all right, I've offered you the gospel. If you don't receive it, then I have to move on. I don't want to throw my pearls to the swine. I don't want to waste my time. If you're constantly bucking up against or you're not receiving it, there are plenty of other people who will receive it. And so I don't want to waste my time. And so we have to be wise as serpents and as harmless as doves. We have to know when to sever relationships or when to, move on. And so he said, Jesus also said that he that heareth you hears him, hears Jesus. So we should not take the glory if somebody gets saved, because it's ultimately God, And so if they hear you, they hear God. And if they despise you, they're despising God. So we shouldn't take the blame, right? If they don't receive Christ and if they don't obey the gospel, we shouldn't take the blame. We shouldn't beat ourselves up. So that was the first part. I'll just summarize the first part of Luke chapter 10. The latter part of Luke chapter 10 talks about the Samaritan, right? And so Brother David said, you come, I got 6 minutes. So here you come, and then just lay here on the floor. So I'm doing a little show and tell. So just lay down. All right. So this man, right? He was on his journey, and he got robbed, he got beaten, he got bruised, he got, bloody, right? Left for dead, And so Jesus talks about these 3 men because the reason why he brings the story is because this lawyer, wanted to justify himself and say, hey, basically, what can I do to enter the kingdom, right? And Jesus told him, okay, what does it say in the law? And he went through the Shema, which is love the Lord your God with all your mind, soul, strength, and everything, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And so and Jesus said, yep, you're right. And then he said, well, who is my neighbor? Right? And then he told him the story of this man who was on his journey. And these 3 men, the priest, the Levite, and the Samaritan. Right? And this priest, just imagine with me, him walking and looking from afar, completely avoiding. He was on his journey to the temple. He was on his way to preach the gospel, or not to preach the gospel, but to preach the law, right? But nowadays, we preach the gospel, And he was on his way, on his journey, so focused, but missing somebody who needed the law, or nowadays who needs the gospel. And he avoided it because he was on his way, he was so focused on his way to do the will of God, do the work of God, right? But the will of God was also to reach to him, reach out to him. And so he went on his way, avoided him. And then the Levite come, he's also a part of the ministry, right? He came and he looked down. He got down. I was just imagining in my head, like he got down, looked down, and was like, you know what? There's no hope for you. I don't know if you will receive God. He didn't look at him as half alive. He had a hope. He had a chance. But he just said, you know what? I'm going on my way. I'm on my journey to the temple as well to help the priest. To serve in the temple and to do what I feel like I'm called to do. But God also called him to reach down and do something for this man. And so now the Samaritan, he's coming along. He's like, he's a nobody, right? He's rejected. He knows what it feels to be left alone and broken and distraught and hurt and forgotten. So he had compassion on him. He had mercy on him, and he got down and he did something. He picked him up.
All right, come on now.
And he cleaned him up, right? He poured oil and wine into him. That is the representation of the Holy Ghost. And so he did something with what he had. He had the Holy Ghost. And so he poured the oil on him, right? He entered his wounds, into the places where it hurts. It's the Holy Ghost that's going to do that. It's the Holy Ghost that's going to pour into him and to heal those wounds, and that's going to lift him up, and that's going to take care of him, And the Samaritan was willing to submit to that and to help and reach for this man and not leave him in his condition. He was on his journey as well. It said that he was on his journey, probably to the temple as well. If they would allow him in, or he was probably going to, be outside the temple. I don't know, but he was on his journey. But he was willing to stop and to help this man and to take care of him. And we have to do the same. We can't be gone. We can't just come to the church and get fed and not do anything with it. We have to go out and reach for people, reach for lost souls. And just share what God has given us. Thank you. That's the word of God. I believe God gave you.
Amen. Amen. Could we just give the Lord some praise right now? He knows how to speak in your heart. We love you, Jesus. Thank you for your word. Thank you for talking to us today. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. What's that? 10:40? Yeah, 20 minutes. Wow, they all work to the second, maybe even early. Let's give them an applause for that. I'm going to be seated. I'm going to speak for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to take time to greet one another. So good to see everyone here today. Glad to have Melissa's mother with us today. Amen. And, good to see all of you. I probably will miss somebody, but I'm so glad you're here today. And there was an excitement in our early prayer. You could feel like an electricity in the atmosphere, an expectation. People have an expectation today that God is doing something. I noticed as the teachers were speaking to us today that there was an attentiveness, a seeking. What is being said that can feed me? That can, I don't know if those are the right words, but I hope you grasp what I'm saying. That somehow can I absorb something in my spirit from not only the words that are being spoken, but the spirit with which they are being said. Can I absorb something that will help me? I'm going to I jotted a few notes earlier this morning. Wasn't sure I would have the time because I am going to preach in a little bit. But I've been reading a book, and I'm going to take the time to recommend this book to you. I know I was going to do it later, but I'm going to do it now. It's by Joy Haney. It's an easy read. Actually, I think they probably were going to do it. But I'm the boss. So it's sorry, that sounded rude, didn't it? But the truth is, this week I tried to dedicate myself more in order to be ready for today. Not just the longer I am involved in this, you would think, well, it's a long time, but the longer I'm involved in it, the more I realize it's not merely the words of a man or even our agendas or strivings, but the move of the Spirit that can reach into a heart and touch a heart. And I thought back, I'll start with a story that happened prior to my wife and I getting married, between the time that Jesus came and touched my life and changed me in one night. See, there are some things that you have to grasp, that we have to grasp hold of, what God is able to do. Sometimes we think, well, I can progressively get better. And it doesn't always work that way. Now, I'm just telling you, one touch of Jesus can make the difference in somebody's life. In one night, he delivered me from, not just from the drugs and the alcohol, but the desire. It was deeper than just the actions. It was inside. What I know from the writer in Ezekiel, that night, he took out my old heart and he gave me a new heart. And in my heart, because that's where desires come from, he changed the way I talked, the way I walked, my actions, the way I lived, the things I loved, in one night. And you and I must grasp the possibility of that. That in one encounter with Jesus, lives can be changed. Now that's important because that's a matter of faith and confidence that we're not just here telling stories or trying to wow one another, and we're not here just singing to have beautiful songs or even necessarily deep meaning words of the lyrics of the song. But we believe that miracles can happen when Jesus walks in the room. Now I'm going to tell you, if you lose that, you really have lost a great purpose that we've come together for. This is not a business meeting. This is not, we're not here just to please ourselves. Even though certainly we are blessed in the midst of what we're doing. Folks, we are here, like Sister Collins said, we're here on this journey to please God. That's really why we're here, to please God. And if we will seek to please Him. So, in my week this week, I spent some time. I had Pastor Eric order some books for me. And I want to promote reading. I want to promote reading. You need to read. Amen. Okay? Yes, first of all, your Bible. And they're going to talk to us today about that. We want to promote reading your Bible first and foremost, your Bible. But then there are other books. This little book here is an easy read. And it's called Praying the Word. Am I late? No. Okay. It's called Praying the Word. So, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? It's like picking up your Bible and just praying what you read in your Bible. But I'm going to tell you another secret with it, and that is you have to have great confidence in the Word of God. When I started to tell you my experience happened, my life was changed, and I began to read. I had a hunger, a thirsting. I didn't have a pastor, I didn't have a church, I didn't have a church service to go to. I had a Bible. And I prayed, and I'm sure I learned how to pray from hearing my mother pray as a child. I'm sure I learned how to pray by hearing others pray in my life. And so, but I found, as I prayed and read my Bible, God began to talk to me through His Word. And I came across a verse, it's in Isaiah 55:11, and He said His Word would not return void. And I took it literal. You know, that's the other thing. You listen, when you read the Bible, don't analyze it. Don't try and dissect it and rationalize it. Believe what it says for face value. And this verse said His Word would not return void, so I sent Linda a letter. And I said, I want you to take all the money we've been saving for our wedding. I want you to go buy Bibles. And I want you to send me Bibles. So she went to a Bible bookstore and bought cases of Bibles and sent me cases of Bibles. I had some of my most incredible experiences as I just began to give away Bibles. I had men, hardened men who had murdered people, killed people, men who had many scars and problems and hard lives. I had them come to me with tears streaming down their face. You think I could have one of those Bibles? And I want to say, it did something to me in that early time. It put within me a deep belief of, just deep inside of me, a believing that there's nothing impossible for God's Word. It can reach anywhere, save anybody, make all the difference, deliverance, healing. I found verses in Psalms, and He said He sent forth His Word to heal them of all of their diseases. You know what? I've spent 47 years in ministry. 45 years in ministry. You know how many times I've had people come to the altar who needed a healing, and I prayed. You know what I mean? I prayed. I shook them. Hello? I prayed strong. I yelled at the top of my lungs, heal them, oh God! You can smile a little bit. I was very serious and very sincere. And you know what? Sometimes it didn't happen. Right? And I'm not trying to make light of that. I will do more of that. because intensity and sincerity and passion should possess us. So I'm not mocking or taking away from that, but I am telling you, what heals is the Word of God. Now that's not just a quote from Jerry Staten. That's a quote from the Bible. He sent forth His Word to heal them of all of their diseases. Now, how many of you know the substance of Jesus? Okay, how about John 1:1? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Right? The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. The Word, right? In verse 14, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Jesus was the Word of God made flesh. He sent forth His Word to heal us of all of our diseases. There's power in the Word. So, just a few quotes I want to read to you from this book. Adversity. Adversity. Y'all know what that is? It's like everything seems to be against you. Right? Adversity is not an option. When you are born into this world, I forget which one of our boys it was that was born, probably Jerry. He was born with a black eye. He was fighting to get into this world. You see, Jesus said, in the world you shall have tribulation. Sometimes people have misinterpreted Christianity. Like, come and get Jesus, and everything will be so smooth. Hello? How many of you found that to be your Christian life? I thought the devil showed up at my front door the day after I got saved. Hello? Right? He said, in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. So adversity is not an option. You see, the fight, to have the fight, is essential. I don't think I'm really saying something that you don't know. Maybe you really wish it wasn't that way. But for you to get up this morning and for you to make your way to church, a fight had to take place. Now, I'm not talking about between you and your wife. Although that may sometimes happen. But that's not the fight I'm talking about. I'm talking about the war in your mind and your spirit. Make yourself do some things your flesh don't necessarily want to do. Listen, this is taken from Nehemiah 4:14. Be not afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wife, and your houses. Fight. I was trying to get a fight going. I'm kidding. That don't bother me. I love little girls running to see me. They just ran right on by. Okay. Listen to this. The conclusion of the Apostle Paul's ministry. Actually, the conclusion of his life. He says, for I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. Amen. I have finished my course, and I've kept the faith. Don't let the fight destroy your faith. Get back up. Look the devil in the eye. We will win this thing. We will make a difference in this city. You can't have my family. You can't have my children. You can't have my health. You can't have my promises. You can't have it. I have been given my promises from the Lord Jesus Christ. I stand upon His word. Amen. It takes a fight to save souls. When I say that, like Will, and it was pointed out, it's not really us. But you know, the real war that's going on is between the devil and God. It's been going on a long time. But we, through salvation, have joined the team of Jesus. And so we're a part of the battle. And I have news for the enemy and everyone else. 2020 is going to be our greatest year ever. We can